Hey, good evening, everyone. Bruce Foster, your host, Jetski Republic. Hope everyone's had a great week. That video there was just a recent one from Morn Durand, who was riding out around the Keppel Islands just, I think it was the weekend there. And he was out there with Sondra Svensson, Rebecca, and Lee, I think it is. Is it Lee? Give me a minute. I better not get this wrong. Michael, sorry. Michael and Rebecca Hales as well. So I know Rebecca's usually always out with Morn. I completely forgot her husband's name there, so my apologies, Michael. So what's everybody been up to this week then? I first of all, I've got to make an apology to Morn for that video there. I couldn't play the original soundtrack that he had on it. The reason being, I've been getting smashed lately with copyright infringements from Facebook, and this is one of the reasons why I've got one of the guests on tonight again. I had him on a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I played a video, and unbeknown to me, Facebook put a copyright claim in and basically shut down my stream, but I had no idea it had actually been shut down, because with the exception of numbers disappearing in the screen, and then obviously myself, too busy speaking away to let's see, are we still on? I believe we are. Can I get a thumbs up from anyone if anybody's watching or listening? Yep. Anyone? We all good? I'm paranoid now in case I get shut down, and I don't know why, because I've just used copyright free music, so it should be okay. So thumbs up would be great. A little bit of feedback from some people in the chat. That would be awesome. All right, so first on, before we get our guest on, I just want a big shout out to Brad Doyle again. I'm going to move to another screen here so you'll get the idea of where we're at. Now, Brad obviously at the weekend had just on Sunday had completed his, I think it's 200 and odd kilometre ride from Maroochydore up to Harvey Bay, all for a mental health charity called Bayside Transformations. I've been speaking about it a couple of times over the past couple of weeks, so yeah, most of you who've been tuning every week should have an idea what who I'm talking about. Seems to be all right. Paranoid we don't have anybody on. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see there, he completed the ride. Hats off to him, Brad. Congratulations, mate. Epic ride. As you can see, the pictures there looked pretty gnarly. And I'm pretty sure it would be a little bit cold as well. Michelle and Lee Sin were with him as well, and I've got another Brad, but I don't know what his surname is. So the four of them completed the ride. Well, the two Brads completed the ride because Michelle and Lee Lee had an issue with his steering on his ski, so I think he only got about halfway around the kilometres we were intending on doing, and then had to turn back to Rainbow Bay. So unfortunate for Lee. Michelle obviously turned back as well, but both the Brads completed it. So I'm going to try and run this little video as well, just to kind of give people a bit of an idea of how it looked. Give me a second here. Let me get this. I'll try and ride. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'll flick through some of the footage. I'll knock the audio down on that one, but you get the idea. That's both the Brads coming in to Harvey Bay. That's his fan club. I'm assuming that's all the Bayside Transformation people and the people that are supporting him. Hats off to the turnout. Yeah, that's fantastic to see. It looks calm there, but the footage I got earlier on does not indicate it was particularly calm when he first set out that morning, Sunday morning. So it was pretty gnarly. Looks great there at the moment, but yeah. So I'll just let it flick through a little bit. There's his fan club. He wasn't getting lost, that's for sure. He would be like a beacon. Somebody's got one of those horns. Yeah, so great
Say hello to the Facebook fam.
Hey Facebook,
Yes.
how's it going?
All 7 hours.
This one's for everyone in transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
How was the trip? How was it?
Rough.
Rough?
Yeah.
Was there any close calls?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah.
One.
Not really, but we made it. It was all good, so.
Yeah.
Just the legs are a bit chilly.
Yeah, they would be. A bit seasick.
Yeah, but yeah, we made it, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big mission.
What was it like? Good?
Brad, thanks Brad for coming along. So.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Two Brads.
The Bradley duo.
Oh yeah, Michelle and Lee too. I want to say thanks to them as well. They stopped off the Rainbow, so.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks heaps.
Come and do the bread. Do the bread.
So, yeah, so there you go. Fantastic effort. Absolutely love it. Congratulations again on the effort, and yeah, I'm pretty happy for him that he's completed it. I got a message from him this morning. I've been trying to chase up a highlight video. He's meant to be getting featured on Channel 7 tonight, but they apparently notified him and said it would be tomorrow night. So he said he's going to post it up. Guys, if anyone's looking to contribute anything to Bayside Transformations, go to their Facebook page. The GoFundMe link is on the page there, so they're still looking for donations, tax deductible too as well. So if you've got any spare coin, definitely throw it their way. They'll really appreciate a bit of a helping hand to secure the property that they're trying to get. So they're obviously in a property at the moment, but the owners are going to be able to sell it. So this is why they're trying to make efforts to get the money for this. So yeah, so there we go. Fantastic. Simply great. I love it. Alrighty, so let's move on. Can I get that one out of the way? Okay, sorry, just getting myself organised here. Alright, so we're going to get our guest on now. Yep, wrong screen. Get that off. Hold the bus. Right, now. Alright, let me get Lindsay on first. We'll go from there. Give me a moment. Just gotta look him up. Lindsay, I hope you're ready, mate. I haven't had a confirmation from him yet, so I'm hoping he's going to be ready to roll. I messaged him half an hour ago and said I'll see you in 30 minutes. So fingers crossed. All right, let's try it and see where we go. And he doesn't want to answer. Come on, Lindsay. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Hold on a second. I'll just close the door. I've got to get this to work now. Okay, gotcha.
Now, what I'm going to do first is before we proceed, Lindsay, can I get a thumbs up from anybody who's watching if they can hear Lindsay okay? I know he's gone off at the moment. Give me a second. I'll get you your window up. So bear with me. Right, there we go. All right. So now you've moved around. I don't know why you're moving around. All right, there we go. Got you.
Excellent. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are we?
Good. Can you see me okay?
Yes, I can see you. And I'm hoping everybody, yep, I'm getting thumbs up, so everybody's okay. Your sound, your volume up as high as you can get it, because I can't get any further.
Okay. Well, I'll talk louder.
Yes. It might be because, are you talking into a phone rather than a mic?
Yes, that's right. I don't have a mic.
That's what it is. That's what the problem will be. All right.
If you gave me, in fact, it's funny. I think, where's my headphones? I realised I had them in my car. But anyway, I'll speak loudly.
Yes, or bring the phone closer to you if you can somehow. That's fine. As long as we don't see your nasal hairs, we'll be fine. Listen, first of all, I want to really thank you for coming back on. I know the last time was a bit diabolical, and my apologies to you for that. I was blissfully unaware as to what had actually happened until I came off and then realised the whole thing had went pear-shaped from the moment I'd played a video prior to getting you on. I've learned a lesson from that. I've been told by someone who does these regularly, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, cool. So we should be good. All right, so how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And I've been practicing since we was last on, so I'll be twice as good this time.
I know people get a bit nervous about coming on because they constantly ask me, what questions are you going to ask? What questions are you going to ask? And I'm like, guys, just don't worry about it. We'll just go with the flow. If you don't have the answers, it's fine. We just make a laugh of it. We'll have a bit of fun about it and just enjoy the whole thing. So I'm going to play your video in the background of this trip. Now, give me a second. I've got to switch the video channels over. There we go. All right, so now people should see you on the screen because they weren't before. My bad. I forgot to switch the screen over. But we've got you now. So everything's okay, yeah?
Yep, everything's good.
All right, cool. All right, so first of all, how long have you been jet skiing? I know a lot of these questions are going to be generic, they're going to be repeating themselves from the last time, but people missed out because they couldn't see it. So what got you how long have you been involved in jet skiing and what got you involved in it?
Well, I probably had two phases of it. I bought a couple of old two-stroke Sea-Doo jet skis probably about 15, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And had them for a period of time, and they were nice and light, and you could play in the surf with them, and I'd do that, go down the beach and just jump a few waves and those sort of things. And then I started to thought, I might do a bit of a long-distance trip on one of them, so I travelled from down south of Adelaide to home, and that was probably about 45, 50 Ks, and thought that was fantastic. And then I went from Adelaide down to Victor Harbour, and then I went across to Kangaroo Island a couple of times. and then the skis departed, and then I was thinking about going in Kangaroo Island. I thought, what can I do it on? I thought, let's go around on jet ski, and that was 2018. Yeah.
So you've been going a while then.
Yeah, I suppose I've had 20 years of experience, but I just figured they were just like a motorbike on the water, and I've been riding motorbikes.
That's true.
All my life, really.
It's funny because the majority of people that I've met have all had a motorbike or motorcycle background before coming into jet skiing. So I guess the transition's obviously pretty straightforward. A bit of a softer landing if you come off, I guess.
Well, I've never come off a jet ski of any great rate of knots. But people ask about that. It's interesting. People say, what happens if you fall off the jet ski? And I said, well, why would you fall off? It's just so hard to do because there's no wheels to kick you out of direction. There's no trees to hit. Generally, and they always land with a bit of a soft landing.
Listen, speaking to someone who's ended up in the mangroves, I can testify it's as close to a tree as I'm going to get.
Yeah, generally, most incidents associated with jet skis are from people who are generally males between the age of 18 to 28. They don't own the jet ski and they've got booze in them. That's generally where the accidents occur, I would suggest, but that may be a broad summary.
At least you're on a bit controversial, at least you're on a decent ski.
Sorry, say that again?
At least you're on a decent ski.
Well, in fact, I was listening to something the other day and they said jet skis, Kawasaki's are a little bit front heavy and have a bit more spray.
Yeah.
And I've never experienced a major issue with that. So then again, I haven't spent a huge amount of time on Yamahas or Sea-Doos most of my
Right,
time.
okay. Listen, Melissa Simonton's just said you fall off a Kawasaki. Melissa, we're going to have to get you on, Melissa, just so you can explain that one. Now she's correcting it. You can't fall off a Kawasaki now. Oh, so I picked that up wrong. Okay, all right. We'll let her off. Okay. So watching the video, what possessed you to go do a lap of Australia?
Well, it was an evolution of things. I just wanted to go around Kangaroo Island. That's all I started off wanting to do. I thought that'd be a fantastic trip and that'll see me out. And so in 2018, I just went around, did all this planning and, really super analysed it. And it only took me a day and a half and it was just under 400 kilometres. And I thought, wow, that was a bit easy. So I thought, what can I do next? So I thought, I'll go around Tasmania. So,
As you do.
Yeah, you do. So I thought that's just going to be a big kangaroo island, 10 times as far and that. So I went around Tasmania in January of 2019.
Yep.
So that took me 15 days, 12 days on the water, 15 days in total. I thought, well, that was pretty good. That will suit me. And I thought, what if we can go around Australia? So I bought a map of Australia and started looking at it. And so I had the good machine. I had the machine. I had the equipment. I knew I could do it. Just a matter of, I didn't know if I could do it or not. I just had to plan it. So Australia it was. And so that was 18 months in the planning. And then, of course, got broken up with COVID. So I did this section in 2020 through Western Australia pretty much. And that gave me more knowledge and information to finish the trip in 2021. Yep.
Now, it's a fair trek. So where did you go? Did you go around by the East Coast first or around by the West and over the top? Or?
So I was trying to work out how to stay in continual summer all the way around.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to be coming across the Great Australian Bight in winter, and I didn't want to be up in northern Australia before April because of monsoons.
Yep.
And also the main time up there is June, July.
Yep.
So I kept looking at the map and doing measurements, and I decided I'd start in Exmouth in Western Australia, and I'd come down there in March.
Yep.
And then get Western Australia in March, April across to South Australia, May up the East Coast, and then June, July across the top.
Okay.
That was how it worked. Yeah.
So were you migrating north with the whales then?
I was, and it was really interesting because the first time I saw evidence of whales leaving Malakuta, and I saw this squirt of water go up, or mist go up in the water about 400 metres ahead of me. I thought, what the hell's that? And then it was a whale. And then for the rest of my trip, I was, whales would just pop up alongside of you. It was really, it was a beautiful thing. And
Yep. It's the migration highway at that time of year.
it is, yeah. And it's funny, I was going past Jarvis Bay, and there was this big boat ahead of me. I said, "What's that sort of boat is that?" And I realised it was had about 300 tourists on it, all waiting for a whale to come past. And there's me on the jet ski, and I'm going, "Oh, crocky, what are they thinking?" You know,
You should have had a straw in your mouth with a mouthful of water and just went. Sorry,
Yeah,
people,
so-
I'm breaching out of my way.
So, and the whales are just fantastic. They're just so big, and when you first see them, you go, "Wow, look at that." That's
Yep.
just
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to go out. It's been a couple of. I was out on Friday there, hoping to catch a glimpse of something. But some of the other guys, Melissa and some of the other people that have been out, we've had some great weather up here where it's been smooth as the winds have been really low. Guys have been able to get out, and luckily Melissa and a few of the other guys have managed to get some really nice footage of the whales breaching, especially.
yes.
I went out Friday with Daz Kale. It was like they were all in hiding. It was like hide and seek. There was nothing. So I was a bit upset about that, but I'll catch them at some point. But yeah, it's really, really something else to see them. It's a bit annoying sometimes though, because you don't get the chance. You're not allowed to go close to them
No.
for obvious reasons. But then the big tour ships are allowed to go almost on top of them.
Well, I think that when I was travelling, I had purpose in mind. I wasn't out looking for whales, and sometimes I'd pop up so close to you, and then they'd be gone, or I'd see them ahead or directly in front of me, so I'd veer off to the left or the right to kind of, put the indicator on and overtake them. But the first time I saw one breach,
Yeah.
I thought it was a wave hitting a rock. Suddenly there was this huge splash about half a kilometre away, and I thought, oh, must be a rock.
Yep.
And then I kept looking, and next minute up they come again. So, no, the whales were they certainly left me alone. They didn't attack me, so that was a good thing.
So the ride itself was obviously you wanted to do it. You decided to do it. Was there any other purpose related to why you wanted to do it? Was there any cause, charity, or was it just you wanting to do it yourself?
Well, since I was a little boy, several years ago, I'd always wanted to break a world record, a Guinness Book of Records.
Yep.
And so there was, I started reading up on that. And when I first started my trip planning, the world record was only about 3,400 kilometres or something. And I thought I can knock that off in an afternoon, so to speak. And by the time I started, the guy from the South African guy, I think it was, went from Norway down to the Mediterranean. So it was suddenly 7,200 or 7,400 kilometres. And so Australia was 15,000 kilometres. So I figured I'd be able to break that. And so finally coming out of lockdown in Victoria, so from Mallacoota around to Exmouth was 9,400 k's, which I did in 69 days. So that breaks the world record.
Have you managed to get that officially confirmed?
No, yeah, I'm still doing. What's happened is the plotting mechanism I had keeps bouncing back from Guinness Book of Records. So would you believe I've submitted it about 6 times and it's been rejected every time because they only accept stuff online. It's not loading up properly. It's been doing my head in. So in fact, this afternoon, I'm just fine tuning my submission to send back to them again. But
and how do you send that then? Is it a log or is it online data or?
Yeah, so Guinness World Records have got a website, and you log on what you're going to do, and then you log your evidence. So it was interesting in the news. There was a guy who rode a rowing machine for 30 days, did a marathon a day for 30 days, and he's almost finished his submission to Guinness Book of Records. Yet mine was 89 days, which meant there was something like 3,490 GPS pings went out, and I've got to get all of them online, and so they load up on Google Earth. And
right, okay. It's not an easy task then.
No, it's not. And then I had to other things like all my statements from people who came into where I came into harbour.
Yep.
And you've got to fill out a statement, and then you got to do a summary and your diary, and plus when I went back to work, I'm a little bit behind. I probably could have had it done, but I was like writing a book. You've almost got to do every little thing to submit it, but it'll happen in time.
You'll get
and
there.
Then secondly, I thought I'd raise money for charity, like a different charity. But what happens is I think if I was pulling into his boat in harbour and say, hey, I'm raising money for prostate cancer or kids cancer or whatever, there's almost an obligation to sell something every time you come into shore. And that was just too hard when you've got so many things to think about. So I just called it men's health awareness. And if somebody on a boat ramp wants to have a yarn, which they did, it's really amazing. Stories that people told me and the things they confided in me were humbling, like I couldn't believe. And so I said to the guys, listen, I'm no doctor, I'm nothing, but the fact that you're having a conversation with a guy about health issues and that prompts them to do something, and if in doing that they decide to make a donation to a charity of choice, then so be it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's surprising the number of people that will just have a talk for you, and even although they don't really know you. And I think that's probably part of it, is because you don't know them. They're quite happy to unload that on you a little bit because they know that there's that every chance to get it off my chest, get out in the open with someone, because I'm probably not going to see them again, so it's an opportunity for them to have that open discussion with you. So yeah, I've had some people open, like I'm a bit of a yap myself sometimes when I start talking about certain things, but certainly that, like I think somewhere along the line, pretty much everyone somewhere has experienced some form of mental health issue. I know I have.
Yeah, there was two ones which really there was quite a few, but there were two main ones. I was on at a marina in Western Australia relatively early in the trip, and a couple of fishermen come up. They're hardcore fishermen. They've got all their rods and everything like that. And we're standing looking at the ski, and we were just looking at it, and I was asking a few questions. And then out of the blue, the guy said, my son was 17. He committed suicide 6 months ago.
Ooh.
And you go, wow, that's, and so we just talked, and that's deep as it was. And then I was on a beach, maroon, because my beach was up in Western Australia.
The video evidence is there, by the way.
Yeah, and I was stuck on a beach, and a guy walked out with his wife, and he got within about mid-40s, I suppose, and he got within a metre or so of me, and he said, "Mate, can I give you a hug?" And I've gone, weird, but anyway, he broke into tears on the shoulder, and his wife standing there, and he said, "Listen, I've been suffering from PSD for 18 years." And what you're doing and making people aware of this is amazing. Anyway, I got a donation of $500 from a TV station for a little story I did, and so I had their details because they sent me some photographs. I said, which charity can I give this to, and they nominated the charity of their choice. So that was a lovely thing to do, but it was just indicative of people when you talk and prepared to listen, they'll come out with stuff. So
I think to be honest with you, Lindsay, the Aussie psyche is very much toughen up. It's very much toughen up and suck it up and just get on with it kind of thing. Whereas I think now it's really the landscape's starting to change quite a bit now. It's and God forbid, if you've got a supporting wife or a supporting partner, they really help you get through the lean times as well, and they help you open up as well. So, for me, my wife was my biggest asset for me as far as helping me get through it. So, I don't know about anyone else, and like I never ever thought to talk to anyone else about my issues. Like even some of my Jetski friends and that, I just kind of locked myself away. I went through long periods of time where I wasn't going out on the ski. I'd arranged meetups, and then it'd be like, no, I'm not going to go. I was just in that kind of rut where I just couldn't break out of it. And I was obviously experiencing health issues as well myself personally that all kind of fed into it as well. But my wife helped get me through it all, and she was the one that was an encouraging factor to try and get me back on the road again. And to be honest, starting this podcast has really, really helped me as well. It's got me to meet people who, such as yourself, Lindsay, who I would never have normally reached out to. But because of this, it's allowed me the opportunity to reach out to a hell of a lot more people who I would never usually speak to. And it's been really, really refreshing and good for me.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. But right around my trip, there was times when I was feeling flat as, or I felt overwhelmed by what I was trying to do. And I had my satellite phone a lot of the time, and I'll be on that, some isolated beach, just a quick call home, just to reassure me that it's going to be okay. and have a talk. So there were some people on the ground who helped me significantly, as well as, obviously I could ring ahead to make sure things were going to be okay when I got there tomorrow or the next day.
Yep. No, that's good. It's so in all. How long did the actual trip take you in total then?
Yeah, sure. So it was a total of 89 days on the water.
Okay.
So I'd originally planned 101, but some of those legs were quite short, so I could double up on some of the days.
Yep.
89 days. The total distance was about 15,200 kilometres. And so I was going to allow 5 months altogether, and it was probably 6 months I was away in total. 1 month on the first time before I got locked away with COVID.
Yep.
And then 5 months when I got back on the water on the 1st of April 2021. I finished in August, so April, May, June, July. Yeah, 8 months. 5 months.
Well done.
Second stint, yeah.
It's a hell of a long, number of days on the water. Like I was speaking there earlier about Brad Doyle doing his little charity run from Maroochydore up to Harvey Bay, and he was on the water 7 hours, and he did 219 kilometres or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Like it was pretty gnarly for him, and for someone who's not as experienced probably on a jet ski as you are, like I know he was 7 hours on the ski with obviously having some breaks, but you did 10 hours on the ski, didn't you?
A lot of 10-hour days. A lot of 10-hour days. And most times I'm up at 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning, so I can be on the water at 6:30, and then I'd get in at 5 o'clock, which is 11 hours, and then you'd pack up. I'd always spend about an hour on the ski, take all the seats off, I'd spray it, check for oil, check for water, do my down briefing before I do my up briefing next day, get ready for the next day. But I got to tell you the story. I went to Sydney last week, and we were standing on the Sydney Heads in the entrance into Sydney Harbour.
Yep.
And I was with my partner, and I was looking out to sea, and there's these little fishing boats right at the bottom of the cliffs, and you can barely see them. And I thought, oh, crikey, that's the jet ski. And my partner had taken a picture of me on Find My Phone app as I went past the gap. And that was just on 12 months ago. And, so here I'm standing on the lookout, imagining what it'd be like to see the jet ski. But more than that, the furthest I was offshore was 75 kilometres.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. That would just...
And I was looking out to sea from the heads of Sydney Harbour thinking, at one stage I was 75 kilometres offshore. And when I look back on it, it sends almost a shiver up my spine to think about it. I mean, 5Ks is far enough. When I think 75 Ks, it's a long way if somebody had to come and find me, surely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, you'll have all the safety gear, so your air would go off, and your PLB and that they would all go off anyway, so they would find you no problem. But still, 75 Ks offshore is it's pretty far.
It's a long way, yeah. And
I'm bad enough when it's just a couple of Ks.
I remember coming across the Great Australian Bight, and I was really nervous about moving out so I couldn't see the cliffs, but I was actually too close in, and the backwash from the cliffs was like a storm in a teacup, like it would just bounce me around. But I was about 2 to 3 Ks offshore, but I didn't want to go any further because I just didn't want to be too far away from the cliffs, when I should have actually probably gone out 8 or 10 Ks to get away out of the backwash.
Yep.
And I remember it was just bouncing around like buggery, just from the sloppy water. Yeah.
No, you've done good. What did your wife say about you being away for so long?
I think they understood. That's why she's not my wife. I've got a partner now. Just kidding. No, beautiful people. It was. I think to do a trip like this, you've actually got to be selfish. You've got to be selfishly focused on getting the job done. There were times if I had said, it's too hard, it's too cold, it's too far, it's too expensive, those sort of things, you wouldn't do it. And I don't think I'm a selfish person, but you have to have a lot of selfish intent to get it done. I figured, if you wanted to climb Mount Everest or, I don't know,
Oh, without a doubt. You spend a lot of time away from home when you're doing these kind of things.
Yeah. I just didn't want to be, last year I just didn't want to be home at Christmas time not having completed it. And
Yep.
because I was mid-year, I thought even if it takes 6 months, I'm going to keep going no matter what, because I just don't want to be end of this year thinking, shit, I've got to go back and finish the last third or the last 1,000 K.
Yeah.
So the paranoia about the ski breaking down was building in my head, you know. And so people say, what was a good thing? I said it was a good thing when the ski started every morning, and I got to where I was going every day. And if I could get enough days in a row, I would finish the trip.
Yeah.
And then the closer I got to the end, the more I was less likely to steer from the course. I was focused. I wasn't stopping anywhere longer than I needed to, just to get the job done.
Lindsay, I was obviously out on the water on Friday morning there, and I put it in the water, right? Now, bearing in mind I'd had it serviced 4 weeks ago, right? First time back in the water since God knows how long since I'd been back in the water myself. But it'd obviously been serviced 4 weeks ago. I went down and I met Daz, put it in the water, went to start it up, nothing. Battery, dead, poo-poo, out. Luckily, we had a guy come along behind. Like, at that point, myself, Daz just lives not that far from the ramp. He said, we'll pull it onto the trailer, we'll take it around to mine, we'll give it a jump, we'll give it a trickle charge, and then we'll give it a boot up in the water again. But luckily, this gentleman come along, and he had one of those portable chargers, fired me up, and boom, off we went. So once I did a lap of South Stradey Island, it was all good. So I don't know what it'll be like if I try and jump on it now and try and put it in the water to start. Probably won't happen.
I had 2 jump starts kits in my kit in case one didn't work.
Yeah.
And I used one to charge up my mobile phone and other stuff as a battery.
Yep.
But I had one which I only used left in an emergency. And a couple of times I didn't have any issue where it didn't start. But the amount of people, sometimes I'd go somewhere and there'd be electrical fault or there'd be a navigation system would stop working. Because I did all the Gulf of Carpentaria almost round to the Kimberley with a handheld Garmin because my main nav system stopped working. And that's what limited battery life. And I got stuck in some fog like you wouldn't believe. Like, I've never seen fog so thick. This is when I was 75 k's offshore.
Oh my word!
And I'm in the fog, and I'd turn my Garmin on to get myself lined up. Then I'd turn it off, and I'd go for 5 minutes, and realise I'd done this big curve, you know, disappearing into the wilderness. And I thought, shit! I'd be looking at my handheld Garmin, going, "You've got to believe this, but it doesn't seem right." And then I'd steer myself back, and eventually the fog lifted about 10 feet off the water, and I could kind of see ahead.
Man, it sounds like an awesome trip. What's your plans for the future? Anything?
I got a few things I'm working on at the moment. Big shout out to Brian Han at the Kawasaki dealer in Lilydale. He's a good confidant. That's where I bought the ski from originally. So I was having a yarn to him tonight.
Yeah.
I've just ordered a dry suit. Because I figured that's the way to go with any future trip. So the lads at Batesman Bay, hot and dry suits.
Yep.
I've ordered a suit. So because previously I had a wetsuit and I'd have waterproof gear over top of the wetsuit, but I've ordered my dry suit now because Doug Case said he was going to buy a new one as well.
Yeah, well, they were talking about a group of them together, all bunching together, and buying it as a bulk order so they would get a better discount on it. So I don't know if that's happened.
I should have better just give them a call and find out what's going on.
It might be worth giving them a call just to see what's going on, yeah, because I know there was a post out a few weeks back where they were asking about people interested in buying them.
Yeah, because
So
they just did. I was speaking to Doug the other week about their trip around the loop from Apollo Bay round to Tasmania and back again.
Yep.
And I'm really looking forward to doing a trip like that. But I think the dry suit's the way to go because it's just removes the chill factor. But so that's what I've done.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to improve things. Everything I've got, I like. But just where you can improve on a few things.
Yeah. There's always room for improvement, Lindsay. Always room. Listen, mate, I'll let you go, but first, before you go, if you've got anything you want to shout out, supporters, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. On you go, mate.
Yeah, big sponsor is really bizarre is the Lilydale Caravan Park. They're friends of the family, and they assisted me majorly with some financial decisions on my trip. Money because it's my sister and her and her husband own the caravan park. But no, it's just Jet Tech in South Australia, down at Morford Vale.
Yep.
They really look after servicing the ski. They do a bloody good job. Good lads, Adam and the team there at Jet Tech. And just all my family and friends who I know who think I'm nuts, but they still support me. And to my partner Sandra, you know, she's there all the time.
Nice one. All right, Lindsay, thank you again for your time and coming back on again. I really, really appreciate you bailing me out here. So I couldn't leave it undone. I had to finish it and do it properly. So
Yes.
I was hoping that you weren't that upset that you wouldn't come on. But you came back on, and I'm so thankful for it. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Listen, Lindsay, all the best, and we'll keep an eye on what you're up to in the future. If you're planning anything and you need to break it to anyone, you know where to come.
I know where to go. Thank you.
I'll promote it for you.
Good on you.
All right,
Have a
Lindsay.
good night.
All right, have a good night, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya. So there we go, Lindsay Warner, Mr. Lap of Australia man, El Capitano, the adventurer of the seas. Yeah, it's great to get him back on. I'm really, really thankful for him coming back on and helping me out. So, yeah, I really appreciate that one. Right, so let's start wrapping things up. I've got a couple of things to go through first before we finish. I'll get rid of that. 2 seconds. Right, now I've got a couple of things I need to shout out about. Hopefully they'll come on. And they ain't coming. Now I've got, now give me a moment, I'm going to try and find something. Oh, here we go. Alright guys, listen, we're going wreck rides here. For those of you that might be interested, there is a lap of North Stradbroke Island stopping off at Pale Island this coming Saturday at 8 o'clock. I believe Dean Brandt's behind it. He's kind of putting it together. So, like, I've always been an advocate for riding in numbers. We're talking about a decent sized ride here. It's out on the ocean side of the island, and then around back down through the inside via Pale Island. Make sure you have enough fuel. Go to the Jetski Riders Gold Coast and Brisbane page, and you'll see the events. Go into the events and click on the events. There are some people going already. I'm hoping to try and make it. It's not a guarantee. I'll need to figure out what's happening with my other half on Saturday morning. She might need the car. Well, if I can figure that out, then I'm hoping to attend as well. So 8 o'clock, Jacob's Well ramp, out through the pin, or the jumping pin, and then it'll be up the coast of North Stradie, and then back down through the inside, through the passage, and back to base. So 8 o'clock, if you're needing more info, just go to the Jetski Riders Gold Coast to Brisbane page and you'll see it there. So yeah, so that's one of the rides that's coming up. There are some other events in that particular page, in that particular group, that are coming up over the coming weeks and months. They're in the events, so check them out. They are there, especially a night ride. If you've been thinking about doing a night ride, make sure you've got the proper night lights. If you're not sure what that entails, again, go to any of the groups. They'll keep you right with the questions. In fact, most of the questions have already been answered. All you have to do is put a search in. My advice to you is, if you're looking to do them more regularly, invest in a decent set of nav lights and night lights. And my suggestion is what I've got, which is Jet LEDs in Slacks Creek. Go to them. They'll sort you out. It might be a little bit pricey, but you get what you pay for, in my view. You get a good quality set of nav lights which are there for the long haul. So if you plan on doing more of them, it makes sense to invest. Again, we do it in numbers. Okay, so yeah, so that's one ride that's happening on Saturday. Now this one I've got to share this with you. It's not jet ski related, but you probably saw this one up on the news earlier today, or through the day at some point. This is mainly for anybody who watches this from overseas, but I thought I had to show this one. Guys, this is, I think some of you are aware that a guy up in the Northern Territories, a landlord up in the Northern Territories, decided, as you do, to fend off a crocodile with a frying pan. I'm going to run this story and let people watch it. It's pretty funny.
He's the Aussie publican who's become a social media sensation after vision of him whacking a cheeky croc with a frying pan hit the internet. But with his own unique handle on the situation, the man behind the pan exclusively explains to 9 News it's a case of tough love.
Out of the fry pan and into the fire, this croc king isn't afraid to dish out a serious dose of discipline.
I just grabbed the frying pan and gave an almighty smack on the nose.
For nearly 20 years, Kai Hansen has been lordship of his very own island, around 70 kilometres as the crow flies south of Darwin.
My kingdom has the only croc-infested moat all around it.
King Kai lives alongside his beloved Casey, who entertains visitors on the banks of the Adelaide River. But a rogue croc named Fred has moved in and upset the pecking order.
Now he's bigger than her, and that is a problem. So she climbs up over there, which is very close to the walkway where people come in from the chopper.
Which forced the publican to bring out his shield.
Gave her a smack a couple of times 15 years ago. So she knows what a frying pan is. And I don't have a gun. Well, I'm lying when I say I don't have a gun, but it's not very effective.
Unfortunately for Fred, there's only room for one king on this island, with a special croc retrieval team set to collect him this afternoon.
As soon as that happens, Casey will stop coming up there and come up in her favourite spot, and all the problems solved.
Casey briefly showed her face today after the stern warning, but never trust a crocodile's tears. On Goat Island, Amy Clements, 9 News.
Oh my word, how funny is that? That is so funny. Only in
Do
Australia.
you accept the AFL's argument that you do?
Only in Australia. Oh my word, that's pretty funny. Okay guys, thank you everyone for tuning in. I've got one last video, which is actually my video from the weekend, from Friday. Again, I've had to change the soundtrack on it, simply to avoid any copyright infringements. But if you want to see these videos properly, go to either the Jetski Republic page or which is where I've actually shared Morn Duran's as well. But I've also got the YouTube channel as well, so go to there as well. This podcast will be uploaded there later on. So if you don't get a chance to watch it, you can either watch it on the Facebook later on or just go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, and you can watch it there. So I'm going to finish up with this this closing video. And guys, I'll bid you farewell until next week. Stay safe, and I'll hopefully see you out in the water. Take care.